You're listening to Faith Connections podcast, where we are dedicated to connecting you to your faith. And now your hosts, Chris and Mari Torres.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Faith Connections. Chris and Mari
Torres.
Welcome back. House of Taurus. Welcome back. Last Tuesday, we talked about running with the vision, run with the vision. And of course, today's a segue, but just to recap, we really kind of talked about Habakkuk 2:2 verses, chapter 2, verses 2 through 4. Write the vision, keep track of the progress, and then of course, keep the faith, right? It happens in God's timing, in the timing that it's supposed to happen. We talked about how the importance of, when you have a goal, a dream, something that you're wanting to accomplish, something that God places in your heart, run with it, right? Don't second guess yourself. Don't start deteriorating that dream, that vision that was given to you. And you need to run with it in order for it to come to reality, come to fruition. But we ended a little bit, and I know you shared this, that it comes with being patient, but being disciplined. And that is the hardest. And I'm going to say the hardest because that is the hardest for every person. It's one of the hardest things to do, right?
Some harder for others.
Yeah. There's some people that, they can be super disciplined in the gym or working out, right? They're committed, but maybe their finances aren't that great. So what I'm saying is there's still some sort of area of lack of discipline. Maybe the doctor tells you, hey, you need to cut out sugars. And you're like, yeah, no, I'll just take the medication, right? And you're like, that self-gratification. No. I'm just using that as an example. No, it could be even me, like high cholesterol, but I'm like, I ain't trying to give up that cheese. I love cheese.
Stay disciplined, off your phone when you drive. Stay in your lane.
I have an app that helps me with that. But it's
Discipline
hard.
Your foot to stay off the gas.
I know, right? Speeding. I don't speed, sir. No, but it's one of the hardest things to do, right? And we talk about it can be in many aspects of our life. It could be with our finances. It could be with our health. It could be with getting things done or relationships. I mean, it could be anything and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's just self-gratification. It's like, you have to give up. You have to sacrifice. You have to, and the flesh doesn't want that. The flesh wants what the flesh wants. I love drinking coffee, or I love chocolate, or I love sugar,
Starbucks,
or whatever the case may be. So it's like, it's things that the flesh wants. And so you're like, well, I don't want to give that up. We think about people, anytime I meet with people with finances and they're struggling, okay, and they're in the red. And what I mean by in the red is I'm like, I don't even know, you're behind, right? So not only do you need to help catching up, and so when we talk about the sacrifices that need to be made to get them back on track and then help them, right? And once they get back on track, they're able to then, hey, okay, now I can start saving for this or start accomplishing different things. The majority won't fulfill it. And the reason they won't is because even if I help them write the vision down and the plan, they won't be disciplined enough to follow through with it. And that's the thing, though. If you're running with the vision, you write it down, right? It's there on paper, but you are not practicing self-restraint. That's the title of today's message, is self-restraint. You're in trouble. And I kind of want to share with you real quick the definitions. The definition to self-restraint is control over your own actions or feelings that keep you from doing things you want to do but should not do. Discipline is a form of moral training, instruction, and correction that can lead to spiritual growth, character development, and Christian maturity. That's the biblical definition to discipline. And just discipline is the quality of being able to behave and work in a controlled way, which involves obeying particular rules or standards. And man, is that hard for many people.
So the word discipline for me, of course, what comes to mind is being prior military.
I was going to say.
Yeah, you have to have discipline. And I got a little funny story to share when it comes to discipline. But I was in boot camp. Now we're standing in formation, and when they call us to attention, you got to lock it up, right? Nobody moves. Drill sergeants are going up and down the row, seeing who's moving. If they catch you moving, or you're gonna pay a price, right? So they didn't catch nobody in our platoon. They caught some people down the row, so they're being punished for their movements. So then at that point, he gets in front of the formation and he says, "Hey, y'all got X amount of minutes to get upstairs, grab whatever gear we needed, and get back downstairs." So as he's saying that, I decided to make a little twitch and look at my watch to see exactly what time it was. Right? It was like, man, it's got to be quick. Well, he caught that movement because everybody's standing still. I mean, so he catches that little bit of movement. And he's like, "Who's that moving over there? Who's that?" He saw movement. He didn't know who it was, but he saw movement, right? So you talk about discipline. And I was like, man. And then at that point, he's like, if nobody fesses up to that movement, everybody's paying. Like the whole platoon's going to pay. So everybody's like, oh, man, we're all going to be punished now. Whoever moves. So, of course,
you came forward.
I had the discipline to acknowledge and own it.
Okay.
And he's like, "Okay, Torres, I got something for you. When you get back down here, I got something for you." So I was like, man, I wonder what that, it's a surprise and it's going to be hardcore punishment. Because now at this point, everybody got punished with being thrashed with push-ups and sit-ups and all that. But mine was going to be different. I don't know what mine was going to be. Ooh. As it turned out, he gave me a big old clock so I can wear around my neck. And and of course, it just brings more attention to you because the other drill sergeants don't have no clue what you got or getting punished for, but they see a big clock. So, of course, that brings attention. So now they want to mess with you. It's like, and they stop you for everything. Private Torres, holy smokes. We got Flavor Flav in the house.
I was just going to say.
And that's what it was. Yeah, that's a funny story, right? So
the Mexican Flavor Flav.
Yeah, so they stop you and they harass you. And then, what time is it, Private Torres? And,
did it work?
What? Well, yeah, I never moved again. I mean, you're talking about, the clock?
Yeah. I was like, was it a working clock?
Yeah, okay. One of those big clocks
okay, with the battery? Okay.
Yeah, so he just put a rope around it and it was around my neck.
That's so funny.
So I'm walking around with that thing everywhere. And of course, you got to take care of it because if it gets damaged.
Lord.
So talk about discipline. You have to have discipline with your information. So that comes to mind, the discipline part, right? Yeah. But the
thing is that might seem like not a big deal, right? But it's
you're
like
in the moment, so
exactly.
Move,
I know, but you're like, oh, let me just. It's not, but just that one little thing changed what,
Yeah, so that's one of my funny stories from boot camp. Having to wear a big clock.
That's funny.
And every other drill sergeant thought it was because I didn't know how to tell military time because we use a 24-hour military time, but I knew my military time, so anytime they quiz me, I had it down. So they're like, okay.
It's not that. What did you
that.
do?
It was because I was looking at my watch. So since I want to be looking at my watch, this drill sergeant thought it would be funny for me to have a big clock so I can always look at the time.
I'm sure it was heavy.
Well, no, it wasn't heavy. Okay. No. But it's annoying because you got to carry it like a necklace.
Yeah.
And you're the only one with a big clock. So you look different. You stand out at that point. Unwanted attention.
Yeah.
But as I was going to say, that's what comes to mind, military discipline, because you got to have discipline for a lot of things, your tactics, military tactics, your combat warfare, you got to have discipline. You got to hold positions. So you got to hold as much as you want to get out there or whatever the task at hand, you got to have discipline.
What I think about when we're talking about discipline is our oldest, right? He just turned 18, and I know we've had this conversation, but it's like, sometimes the littlest, smallest rules, it's like he can't even. He struggles. And I'm like, man, boy, if you can't even follow these simple rules, we're scared for you to go out to the real world because there's rules everywhere.
The undisciplined.
There's rules when you drive. There's rules if you live in an apartment. There's rules in jobs. There's rules everywhere.
Right. So a scripture that I wanted to share comes from Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11 says, "No discipline is enjoyable while it is happening. It's painful. But afterward, there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in this way." Who are trained in this way. And The whole chapter, or at least chapter 12, verse 1
All the way
through
down.
12 is all about God's discipline. You know, that if we're Christians, and He's our Father,
Yeah.
He's going to discipline us like the way our earthly fathers discipline us.
Correct.
So our Heavenly Father is
The
very
same
much
way.
the same way. He's in the discipline. And so unfortunately, we find ourselves in tough situations, and it's because God is allowing the discipline to take shape, and he's
Because he's like, I see you.
Yeah, he's allowing
I
things
see
to
your
happen in our
your
lives.
heart. I see what you've been doing. I see what you could potentially do if I don't do this.
Right.
Now.
So
Yeah.
again, coming back to the vision part, right? If you have the vision, you have a plan and a goal. Being disciplined in the process
Yeah.
is the difficult part, because the flesh, like you said, many times it gets in the way and prevents us from accomplishing those goals.
Yeah.
But I have some quotes that I like. You know me, I like to share quotes. Discipline is the ability to make yourself do something you don't want to do in order to get a result you really want to get. Whether it's finances, whether it's our health. You know, when I think of health, it's getting to the gym. I used to love working out. I used to be a gym rat. And of course, life happens and you get married. And
Now you're a house.
what? I'm a house rat. Okay, that's not right. Can we edit that part out? Okay, here we are. See how your brain works. Undisciplined brain. There.
I don't know why I was like, wait, well, if you're not going to the gym more.
No, our oldest was a
house rat.
a pantry rat.
Yeah, he was a pantry rat.
The distance between your dreams and reality is called discipline. And that's the big one. Listen to that. The distance between your dreams
Wow.
and reality is called discipline.
Yeah.
Because again, what is the vision? That's a dream. And the reality of it is making a plan and a goal and sticking to it.
Yeah.
That is called discipline. So the distance between those two. I like that one.
Ooh, that's good.
Discipline does not mean control. Discipline means having the sense to do exactly what is needed. And what do you need? You need to eat healthy. I need to put a few extra dollars away from my paycheck to get wherever with my finances.
Yeah.
I need to say I love you a few more times in order to make the relationship work, or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you're working at. Motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. That's the law of consistency. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how many opportunities you receive. If you want to grow, consistency is key. And that's staying disciplined. That's the consistency, the discipline,
Yeah.
staying on track, right? Because that's the discipline,
Yeah.
staying on track. So you don't miss your mark.
Yeah. But again, it is hard for people to do. And I think about, and it's just the fact that they don't want to sacrifice, right? And I think about, it could be the littlest things. Like, I remember for years, I didn't get my nails done or my feet done, or, you know, it was like, okay, there was other priorities, you know, now I do, but now I could have, you know, we're comfortable, right? So we live comfortably. So it's like, I could afford to do it. It's not going to put us in a financial situation. But if you can't, and it's going to put you in a financial situation, then you sacrifice now. And it doesn't mean it's just going to be for whatever specific time period.
Momentarily.
It's going to be momentarily until, you know, whatever other season that you get to, you transition because of all the hard work that you've put into it. I think too is people give up. They might even do it or be disciplined for a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. And they're like, they're not seeing the results. Well, they might think it's enough, or they don't see results. So they give up. Yeah. They give up. And so because you give up, it's like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. Things don't happen overnight. It's going to take time, right? Things take time. A lot of things take time. You think about healing, it takes time. Right? Yeah. Time heals all. It's like, no, it takes time, right? Growth, it takes time.
Well, even working out, before you see results.
They say summer bodies are made in the winter. So don't be like Marty trying to work out before you're going to go on a cruise.
2 weeks.
You know, 2 weeks before, or a month before, you know, because I haven't been consistent or whatever, right? Yeah. So it's that same mentality.
It starts back when we were thinking of tamales and menudo during Christmas.
Yeah.
That's when the beach bod
Yeah,
starts.
yeah.
And now you're going on vacation with a dad bod.
Yeah. Or mom bod. And it's okay.
So another scripture that I wanted to share, and it's staying in Hebrews chapter 12, going back though to verse 5. It says, "My child, don't make light of the Lord's discipline and don't give up when he corrects you." Man, I like that part. Don't give up when he corrects you, right? And that's what discipline does. Discipline is a course of action. It corrects us. So same thing, we're thinking finances here, right? So if I'm sticking with a budget, then I have to have the discipline to stick with that budget. Don't go outside of that budget, right? And sometimes when I go outside of the budget, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And it's gonna force me to either get back in my budget, or now I'm totally in debt and I'm getting in the hole deeper and deeper. Before you know it, I'm having to borrow money to pay this debt over here, but I still owe this over here. So it becomes a mess. And we know people like that, and unfortunately it happens a lot in society, right? I'm thinking of finances, but the undisciplined, what happens? We see it in society today. It's happening out there. The criminals are getting younger and younger and younger. Why? Because I think the parents give up. Yeah. Parents give up being parents. They're scared of whatever the system may be out there. And then the only system here in Texas would be Child Protective Services, but there's nothing to fear about. Yeah. Because if you're doing your parental duties, then there's no reason to fear that. Yeah. But I think parents have a fear, and there's a stigma out there that, I'm going to get in trouble, child abuse or whatever. And they're afraid of discipline. Yes. And they no longer, they stop disciplining their children, and these children are just out of control. There's no discipline, undisciplined. Yeah. And so we see that a lot in society today with, and apparently now with our health as well, we're becoming so undisciplined. We're relying more on fast food and quick meals than having those traditional meals where we cook from scratch and cook with the healthy stuff and have a nice meal as a family. Yeah. We're getting away from that. Why? Because everything's so convenient now. Uber Eats and DoorDash or whatever that's out there. It's so much easier. Because why? Because we're working so much. By the time I get home, I'm tired. I don't want to cook. Yeah. So let's have somebody else cook and order it, right? Yeah. And that's become undisciplined, and it's affected our health. Yeah.
Going back to Hebrews 12, right, where it says, "For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant." And it kind of goes back to why discipline and self-restraint is hard, is because we want convenient, we want easy, we want what feels good. That's what we want. That's what we prefer. I mean, who wouldn't, right? It's like, we don't want to suffer. We don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to be deprived of the little things or whatever the case may be. Whatever that is, that's not what we want. And so the reason it's hard is because it can be painful to many people, because they're having to give up what they want, what they desire. The thing is that what the things that they want, the things that they desire, are they truly benefiting the person? Are they truly benefiting you? It's something to think about, right? They may not be. They may actually be hurting you, right? True. But I love this because it says that, man, hey, it seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness for those who have been trained by it. And that's what discipline is. When I shared the definition, it involves, right? So it's the quality of being able to behave and work in a controlled way, which involves obeying particular rules or standards. And then the biblical definition, it says a form of moral training, instruction, and correction. Man, training. It really, when I think about why I am the way I am when it comes to my finances, our finances now, is because I've been trained to be disciplined. And it's not that anybody taught me, but life experience taught me. I had to be disciplined. Does that make sense? I didn't have anybody to be like, oh, here. No, right? When you work at a young age, you have to pay bills. I mean, I was working at 16, paying my own bills at 16. I didn't have anybody to say, hey, let me pay your bills. Let me pay your car payment, your insurance, your cell phone. No, I had to do that. So when you have to grow up quickly and you're the only one that can provide for you, it's like, well,
it's a little bit different.
Every penny counts. Every dollar counts. And so then you have to be responsible because you have no one to depend on to help you. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so I feel like even though maybe in the moment it felt like how unfair life was, or why does that, I don't get to really have that childhood that others might have had, but it was a blessing because that's why I'm so disciplined now. Right. And we get to reap a lot of the benefits because it's not like, oh my God, we can't go and spend money on different things, because we do. Hey, but we're also careful, right? Because it's like, do we really need that? Do we, those kinds of things. And so sometimes, we sacrifice. We don't go out to eat all the time. We cook here at home. We do a lot of different things that help us, but we also get to enjoy, but we get to enjoy to what we like to.
Right.
What makes us whole and happy and keeps us united.
Right.
Right.
I think one time you shared, you did the math when you used to buy coffee.
Oh yeah.
I forgot what that was.
I mean, it just depends, but like, I remember what
you did.
I mean, I love my McDonald's coffee, but
right.
Let's just say you go buy a large McDonald's coffee. Is it still like what, $1.85? I don't know if it's gone up. Maybe it's $2.05 or
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. Let's just go with the $1.85. If you go every day in the morning,
5 days out of the week.
Let's just go 31 days. That's $57.35, and that's McDonald's coffee.
And that's 1 month.
31 days. So if you do Starbucks, that's like $5 right there.
Yeah.
That's $155 a month. So if you just cut that out,
a month.
Go to HEB, get yourself your Starbucks coffee, make it at home, McDonald's coffee, whatever coffee you like, but right, then you're gonna save yourself a lot of
It's changing
money.
Habits, and it's sticking to being disciplined in those
and being smart. Because if you're doing Starbucks, let's just say you're doing the $5, 31 days, that's $155. You multiply that for the year, that's $1,860
on just coffee.
That's just that
on coffee alone. So you can save that kind of money.
You have subscriptions. People spend. I mean, there's a subscription for everything. Oh, a box, and it gives you whatever online, different things, makeup, or those kind of different things. So whatever it is, but
whatever your vice.
Whatever that is. But if you write it down and you're like, well, do I really need this? No.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Say, no, I don't need this, and stick to the plan, stick to the goal.
Yeah.
And that's being disciplined in that.
Exactly. And it's going to help you. It's like me. I'm not, man, I used to.
It hurts in the moment. At least that's what scripture says. It'll hurt in the moment. But afterwards, there will be peaceful harvest of right living. Man, that harvest, what is it like?
Yeah.
You get to really, truly enjoy that dream that you had, that you put it into action by putting the vision down and now living it out and actually achieving that goal. Yeah. I mean, how did we feel when we owned this house? I told you, make sure whatever little detail of the house, it's to your liking, because we're living in this house forever. It's our forever home.
We ain't moving. Yeah, you did.
And we adjusted every wall, every door, the color, everything. I mean, we need to touch up our home because we've been here 10 years now, but it's a touch up, because this is
9 years. We're getting there. Yeah. One more year, it'll be 10 years.
The point is that every window, every little aspect, I said, make sure you choose it to your liking, because this is our forever home. But what the road we took to get there,
correct,
was staying disciplined with our finances, right?
So, I mean, so if you have a goal, a dream, if God has given you a vision, make sure you run with it. That's the first part.
Right.
The second part today is stay disciplined. Man, stay disciplined. And that's going to be by holding yourself accountable or keeping yourself accountable. Because trust me, there's a lot of accountability back and forth. Well, I want to spend here. No, we gotta tighten down a little bit, or whatever it is. Hey, let's eat healthier, or
go work more jobs, and then we can.
Yes, those kinds of things. But you have to stay disciplined, man. If you try this, if you just write the vision, right? If you are patient, but if you're disciplined and you stick with it, man, you're gonna see what God can just do with it, and it'll
water that
it'll become a reality. Yeah. So we hope that you like the stream, you share, you subscribe. We want to thank you for tuning in to Faith Connections, where we connect you to your
faith.